When you read in English, you understand everything. But when it comes to listening, people speak so fast. Today, I'm going to help you understand that fast English. You'll even see that sometimes it's not that the English is fast, but it's that there are some pronunciation habits that you're unfamiliar with. Learning these pronunciation habits will help you to get a clearer picture of what people are saying. And as a result, your ability to understand English will get a lot better. If you don't know me yet, I'm Shereen. I help people who speak English as a second, third, fourth language to increase their confidence and clarity so that they can say exactly what they want to say. Let's jump right into today's lesson. In English, when two sounds are next to each other, they can blend to create a completely new sound. This can happen in both words and in sentences when words are next to each other. Let's start by looking at a word. The word culture, culture. The T and the U, when they are next to each other, blend into a new sound, and the new sound is ch. Culture, culture. So this word is not pronounced culture, it's culture, culture. To give you another example, this also happens in the word procedure, procedure. The D and the U make a J sound, procedure. So it's not procedure, it's procedure, procedure. When this blending of sounds to create a completely new sound happens in a sentence, that can be really tricky to understand. So that's what we're going to focus on today. When these new sounds are created between words in sentences, it can sound like people are speaking really, really, really fast. You'll hear it and you'll think, I've been studying English for 10, 15 years, and how is it possible that I didn't understand someone asking me a very simple question? And that's just because you haven't learned this pronunciation habit. And when you're listening, you're not expecting to hear this sound in this sentence. Sounds like t, d, s, and z can all change when they come before a word that begins with the y sound. So this is especially common in words like you, yours, your, yourself. Let's take a look at each of these with some examples. When a word that ends with the t sound is followed by a word that begins with the y sound, we're going to hear a ch sound. So if the word ends with a t sound and you have you, your, yours, yourself after that word, you'll hear chew instead of you. And you'll hear chore, chores, yourself. In all of these examples, I want you to remember that you can get reduced to ya, your can get reduced to yourself can get reduced to yourself. So those reductions remain along with the blended sounds. I know it sounds really strange, but let's look at some examples. In this sentence, can't you come? Can't you come? The t and the y will get combined to create that ch sound, and you'll hear people say, can't you come? Can't you come? Can't you come? And sometimes this gets reduced even more so that it sounds like can't-cha, cha. Can't you come? Can't you come? Haven't you tried? Haven't you tried? Becomes haven't you tried? Haven't you tried? And you might also hear haven't you tried? Haven't you tried? Haven't you tried? Aren't you coming? Aren't you coming? Becomes aren't you coming? Aren't you coming? And you could also hear aren't ya coming? Aren't you coming? Aren't you coming? In all of these examples, we aren't saying the t sound. It's transformed into a ch sound. Let's take a look at another example. When a word ends with the sound d and is followed by a word that begins with ya, like you, your, yours, and yourself, this is going to change into a j sound. So we won't say the d and we'll replace it with a j. Let's look at some sentences. Did you go? Did you go? Becomes did you go? Did you go? And it can be further reduced, just like the other examples. You might hear did ya, ja. Did you go? Did you go? Could you explain? Could you explain? Could you explain? Could you explain? And it can be reduced to could ya? Could ya explain? Could ya explain? Take a look at this sentence. Remind yourself to relax. Remind yourself to relax. Remind yourself. Remind yourself. Remind yourself to relax. Before we continue with more examples, I just want to remind you that my goal in creating this lesson for you is to help you with your listening skills. It is perfectly fine if when you speak, you choose not to blend the sounds. You sound great when you say, could you explain instead of could you explain? Both are fine. So it's up to you if you want to implement this in the way that you speak. But when it comes to listening, if you aren't familiar with this, it could be very tricky to understand what people are saying. When a word that ends with the sound s is followed by a y sound, you'll hear the sound sh instead of s. So you becomes shoe. Your becomes shore or sometimes sure. What's your address? What's your address becomes what's your address? What's your address? What's your address? What's your address? It makes you think becomes it makes you think. It makes you think. It makes you think. It makes you think. And it can get reduced even further, just like in the previous examples, where you'll hear it makes you think. Sha. It makes you think. It makes you think. That's your decision becomes that's your decision. That's your decision. That's your decision. That's your decision. And last but not least, we have words ending with the sound z and the next word beginning with ya. It's important for you to recognize that actually all of these in the s plus ya and z plus ya, all the words have the letter S. However, the sound is different. Sometimes words with ending with S will say s, and sometimes they will say z. So we are not paying attention to spelling. We are paying attention to the way that things are pronounced. Words ending with the sound z followed by a word beginning with ya is going to make a zh sound, zh. So how's your day? How's your day? Becomes how's your day? How's your day? How's your day? Where's your car? Where's your car? Becomes where's your car? Where's your car? Where's your car? Who's your friend? Becomes who's your friend? Who's your friend? Who's your friend? And there you go. There are 4 examples of sounds blending together to create new sounds. I hope you found this lesson useful and that you learned something new that can help you with your listening and speaking and overall communication skills when it comes to English. If you enjoyed this lesson and you want to continue learning with me, please subscribe, leave a comment, and let me know what you would like to see in future lessons. And I will see you in our next lesson together.